Welcome to Cinema Through the Seasons, a 91.5 WDBK original podcast where we talk about movies relating to the approaching seasons and their holidays. I'm London, your host.
And I'm Corey.
And today, for our very first episode, we are going to be talking about Scream, the 1996 slasher classic. Thank you. All right. So, Scream, like I said, it's a classic in the horror genre. It revitalized the horror in the 90s. It was dying out. So it's directed by Wes Craven, who was also the director of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Not at all.
Yeah. Those movies came out in the early 80s, which were also a hit, of course. But then, going and horror movies in general in the 80s, in the 70s and 80s were like really big. But then we get to the 90s and they kind of start dying out and they get kind of gimmicky and like jokey and people just aren't taking it seriously. So then Kevin Williamson writes the Scream script. And it's pretty big honestly from the beginning. There's a bidding war for it. It's like a whole thing. And then it's eventually bought. It's put into production. Wes Craven is put onto it. And we all know the story from there. It comes out on December 20th, 1996, which is apparently a risky time to release a horror movie because, it's a week before Christmas. Like, who wants to watch a slasher the week before Christmas? So the opening weekend wasn't like super like blowout, but it makes more and more money once people find out how good it is. And yeah, it's a hit.
Yo, it's funny you say that because yesterday I was in therapy, right? And I told my therapist that we were doing this. And she said when Scream first came out, she went to the movie theaters to go see it. And that scene, the opening scene, we didn't even get there yet. Was like so iconic.
We're going to get there. We are going to get there.
The whole audience was scared in the theater.
Yeah.
So at first in my head, I'm like thinking, she's old, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, the first time you see that, it's like, dang, what is really happening? Like, this is like crazy. You've never seen that before, something like that.
That opening scene is crazy. It's probably one of the most iconic opening scenes in a horror movie ever, which we're going to get. Okay. So for marketing for the movie, it's marketed as a Drew Barrymore movie. Like, she's on the poster. This is her on my shirt. She's like on the main poster for Scream. Like, people think that this is a Drew Barrymore movie. She's the star. She's going to be the final girl. So then the opening scene, right? We open on Drew Barrymore. She's in her house alone. She's making popcorn. And she gets a call. She gets the infamous phone call where she answers the phone. She doesn't know who it is. She thinks it's the wrong number. She hangs up. He keeps calling her back. They keep talking. They start flirting. It's getting serious. She lies about having a boyfriend. It's getting serious. So then he asks her, what's your favorite scary movie? It starts it all. She says Halloween, I believe. And they're still talking. And he says, you never told me your name. And she's like, well, why do you need to know my name? And he's like, because I want to know who I'm looking at. Crazy. Like that line, it's just such a great line. It like gives you chills, I feel like. See, I would have loved to experience this movie in the theater. I really would have. I feel like it was such a vibe, especially if you're a teen, like you're like the target demographic and you're seeing this in the theater, the opening scene and then the last act. Probably would have been amazing.
You think you would have been scared?
I think probably with the jump scares. I think definitely it's very suspenseful. I think it's really good at handling like suspense, but also comedy at the same time, which is the point. So anyway, yeah. She realizes this guy's like watching her in her house. She like freaks out. And she says she's going to call the police. And he's like, if you hang up on me one time, I'm going to gut you like a fish or something like that. Okay. So Drew Barrymore, she goes to the patio. She turns on the lights and the boyfriend's there. He's tied up and he's bloody and it's like really bad. So then Ghostface on the phone, he's like, if you answer these questions correctly, like I'll let him go. So then I think the first question was, who's the killer in Halloween? And she gets that right. It's Michael Myers. And then he's like, who's the killer in Friday the 13th? And she says, Jason Voorhees. And he's like, no, that's wrong. And she's like, no, it's not. I've seen that movie 20 times. And he's like, no, in the very first Friday the 13th, it's Jason Voorhees' mother that's the killer, Mrs. Voorhees, and then Jason doesn't become the killer until the second movie, which I didn't know because I've never seen Friday the 13th. Have you
For
seen?
real?
No.
Yeah, he threw a curveball at her. Very much
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, because like everyone knows it's Jason, but I guess you have to be like it's like a real fan to know like the first movie is Mrs. Voorhees and not Jason, which if I get asked that question now I'll know, but not because I've actually seen the movie.
And that's crazy.
Okay, so yeah, she gets the question wrong. And then she turns the patio lights back on, and the boyfriend's dead. He's disemboweled. His guts are everywhere. And then Ghostface throws a chair through the door, through the patio door. So she runs away. She grabs a knife. The popcorn she was making is on fire. Like there's smoke everywhere. It's really dramatic. So then she runs out of the house, and Ghostface is in the house, and he's like looking for her in the house, and she's outside. And then didn't you say something about this scene?
Yes, I did. I did like how she actually like went outside and she snuck through because for some reason white people in scary movies are so dumb.
Yes.
Just for a better sense of words.
Yes.
They kill us off early. But
That's
then
a big.
They just be so dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
The
reason.
chase scenes in this movie are very good. And I think just like the like Ghostface like stalking his victim scenes are very good. And I agree. I think she did a good job considering the circumstances. I do have one issue. Okay. Ghostface like sees her and she hits him with the phone, which you have a knife in one hand, but I guess when you're panicking, I guess like when you're panicking, I guess she didn't think about the knife in the other hand, which I don't know what happened to it because she never stabs him. So yeah, she hits him with the phone and then she runs away and she sees her parents are driving back to the house. She's like, oh my God, my parents. So then she goes and she stops running, and it's maybe for like 2 seconds, but it's enough because Ghostface catches up to her. Obviously she starts running again, but it's not enough, and so he stabs her and he kills her and she's dead, which like I said was crazy at the time because people thought this was a Drew Barrymore movie. And then she dies in the first scene. She's not the final girl. And that was like really crazy. But yeah, she should not have stopped running. Like, what was that? Why did she do that?
I have no idea why she stopped running, but after she got stabbed in the neck, you notice how she still had the phone. Like you said, I don't know where the knife went either, but she still had the phone. And as you see, the parents are like walking into the front door. You can see her about to turn. Like she sees her parents walking to the front door.
Yeah, she tries to like call for her mom, but she's like she's stabbed in the neck.
Why didn't she like throw the phone towards on the patio so it can make some noise or whatever?
She could have done something else to make more noise. I was thinking that too.
I know, just like,
but yeah, her parents like don't see her, and yeah, she gets like stabbed, and she like takes off his mask. But obviously, we as the audience don't see who it is. It like pans away when she takes off his mask. And then yeah, that's the opening scene. It's like the greatest opening scene ever. But the thing is, right, Drew Barrymore actually was originally casted as Sidney Prescott. Yes, she was originally going to be the final girl, but then I think it was like a couple of weeks before production started, she was like, actually, I think we should change it, and I think I should be the one who dies first. And no one really knows if it's like because she didn't want to like be there to shoot the whole thing, because her scene took like only like a week to film, and then after that she was done. So they're like, I don't know if it's because she didn't want to be there to shoot the whole movie, or maybe she just generally thought it would be more interesting, which it was. So good on her either way, because that honestly was like very, very strong beginning. But yeah, she was originally supposed to be the final girl.
I never knew that. Maybe she had another project that she thought would do better or whatever.
Maybe. I don't know if she did anything super recently after this, though. I'm honestly not sure. I probably should look that up. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so then Sydney gets recasted as Neve Campbell, who is amazing anyway. So like I said, I'm not complaining because the opening scene is amazing, and then Neve Campbell is also amazing. So it worked out.
Like 7 movies
already. Well, Neve Campbell wasn't in every single. The only person who's been in every single one of the Screams was Courtney Cox and the guy who voices Ghostface. I think the guy who voices Ghostface, Roger L. Jackson. I think he's in like all of them.
Which one isn't Sydney in? I swear she's in all of them.
I don't think she like not in the very last one.
Nah, she was in it. They called her. They showed her on camera. She only had like a quick cameo though, but Courtney Cox is in there more.
Yeah, like Courtney Cox like stars in like all of them.
Yeah, she does.
And apparently they weren't sure whether or not she would be good for the role because they didn't think she would be like shrewd enough. Like, like Gail Weathers is really rude. She's like really mean. And like, yeah, they weren't sure she would, Courtney Cox would be able to pull it off because at that point she had been playing like Monica Geller or Monica, whatever her name is on Friends. Yeah.
I've never watched Friends.
Me neither. I've never seen a full episode and I probably never will. I've seen clips. We were on a break, obviously. I've never seen a full episode and I don't really want to. Like, I don't really think I really need to. Yeah. Yeah. So Drew Barrymore is dead. Okay. We get to the next scene. And this is when we see Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott for the first time. Her dad comes in and she's like, I'm going on a business trip. I'll see you later. And she's like, okay. And then her boyfriend, Billy, comes in through her window.
Red flag.
Yes.
Which remember the words he said to her too?
When?
When he first comes in through the window.
What does he say?
I've never snuck through your window before.
Oh, he does say that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why he really needs to. And then he's also like, oh, I was watching The Exorcist on TV and it made me think of you. That's weird. That's so weird. Because he's like, oh, it's edited for TV. They take all the good parts out. So like they take like all of the like violence out and like all of the gore out. I'm like, okay. And then that makes him think about how his girlfriend won't do it with him. Like,
he just wanted to have sex.
Literally, that's all he wants for this entire movie. He will not stop bringing up about how Sidney won't sleep with him because she's so traumatized by her mom who died a year earlier. He literally says in a later scene, he's like, your mom died a year ago. Why don't you just get over it? What?
Yo, that was crazy.
Insane.
That was crazy.
And she's like, oh, sorry, that's like so inconveniencing for you that I'm not over my mother being raped and murdered. I don't know if I can say that. R-worded. Her mother was R-worded and murdered. R-worded and M-worded a year earlier. And she apparently, and that's like the whole thing, right? It's like Sidney's mom was murdered the year before, and she allegedly saw someone leave their house, and she identifies him, this dude named Cotton Weary, and she identifies him in court, and so he gets convicted for her mom's murder, and he's like being put on death row. Like he in this movie he has an appeal for his sentencing for death row. So yeah, we meet Sidney and her boyfriend's already weird. And then later they get to school. The next day they go to school and we meet Sidney's best friend, Tatum. And that's when Sidney finds out that Drew Barrymore and her boyfriend were murdered. And like the police are there, the press are there. We meet Gail Weathers, Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers, who she's like a really like a cutthroat journalist. And she's writing a book on Sidney's mom's murder. And basically during the trial, she said that Sidney was a liar and that Cotton wasn't actually like the guy who did it. And apparently her book is about how Cotton didn't actually do it. And how she thinks that Cotton was framed. And Sidney punches her in the face. And it's really great. No, she doesn't punch her in the face here. She punches her in the face later.
And outside of the precinct, I want to say?
Yeah, outside of the precinct. So, and then what is it? Later that night, Sidney's at her house. Ghostface comes to her house. He attacks her. And this is when we get the first like kind of commentary on horror movie tropes. Because a big thing about Scream is that it's a big like commentary on kind of classic horror movie tropes and how they don't really, and how like they're really silly. Like I said, at this point in the 90s, horror movies are like falling off. People are like not really about it anymore. So in this scene, Ghostface calls Sidney and he's like, what's your favorite scary movie? And Sidney's like, I don't really like scary movies. Like they're really dumb. And this is when she's like, they always have like an actress who can't act, who like runs up the stairs instead of going out the front door.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's important because later when Ghostface breaks into her house and attacks her, she tries to go out the front door, but she can't because the door is locked and she can't get it unlocked. So she has to go up the stairs. Very good. Very good.
Yes.
Another thing I noticed in these movies, everyone has a slide bolt on their front door.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone has a slide bolt on their front door because not like regular lock. She can't get out the door because the bolt is like locked. Mm-hmm. So she's trying to open the door, but she can't get it because she's like panicking and she can't unlock the door. Everyone has a slide bolt on their door, and it's like always like I don't know, slid in.
Yo, but her house looks so big because when she first came home from the school bus, you see her not like she didn't just enter through the front door, like she went through the back and then she went up like some side stairs to enter her room. So it was multiple ways to get into her room, but the killer chose the front door, or however he got in there when she was taking that.
Yeah, they never show how. I feel like they also barely ever show how Ghostface breaks into people's houses. He just like comes out of a room and he's in the house,
always
like
in a closet or something.
Yeah, he's like in a closet. Like in this one, she closes her front door, she turns around, and Ghostface comes out of a closet. And then that's like he's just already in her house. Like Ghostface is already always already in the house. So yeah, she runs up the stairs and she calls 911 and she like locks herself in a room so Ghostface can't get in. So then Ghostface disappears and Billy shows up through her window again for the second night in a row. He's coming in through her window and he like hugs her and like she she like runs to him and they hug, but then a cell phone falls out of his pocket. So she's like, oh, this is the guy who was calling me. He just tried to murder me. So then Billy gets arrested. Tatum comes to pick Sydney up. And then there's also, another main character, Deputy Dewey, who is Tatum's older brother, who's played by David Arquette, who David Arquette and Courtney Cox, they met on the set of this movie and then they got married later. Did you know that?
In real life?
They got married? No, I think they're divorced.
What the
Yeah,
heck?
I think they eventually got divorced. But yeah, they met on this movie and then they did start dating and they eventually got married. But I believe they are divorced now. Isn't that crazy?
That's cute.
Yeah. So then, yeah, they Billy gets arrested. Sydney is like pretty convinced that it's him, but then she goes to stay at Tatum and Dewey's house, and Ghostface calls her at their house. So then she's like, "Oh, I guess it's not Billy because he couldn't have called me because he's in jail." Mm-hmm. Yep. So like, fast forward a little bit. We're with the principal of the high school. Oh, the school gets classes get like suspended. And so everyone's like sent home and there's a curfew put in place. And so everyone's out. Everyone is like, leave school. So then Stu, who is Tatum's boyfriend and Billy's best friend, he's like, we should have a party. Not a good idea, but okay, sure. So then we're at the school and the principal of the high school also gets murdered by Ghostface. And in this scene, there is a cameo of, who is it? Freddy Krueger. I forgot that fast. Yes, we have a Freddy Krueger cameo because, like I said, Wes Craven, who was also the director of Nightmare on Elm Street, and that's also Wes Craven in like as the janitor.
That's him.
Mm-hmm. So like the whole point is like the principal like opens the door and there's like a janitor named Fred, and he's like dressed like Freddy Krueger, and that's Wes Craven.
I did not know that.
I know, isn't that so crazy? It's so fun. But anyway, yeah, the principal gets murdered, which isn't really useful for the only way it's like useful is like later on when they're at Stu's house for the party. They like the screenwriter needed a way for everyone to like leave the party. So like the main cast is in the house by themselves. Mm-hmm. So that's why they have them kill the principal. So then later on when they find out that the principal is dead, everyone leaves the party to go see the principal's like corpse because he's like hanging off the flagpole.
Yeah, they were watching the movie with Randy.
Yeah, they were watching the movie, and this is when we get the movie rules scene. We find out the rules of horror movies because, like I said, the whole point of Scream, it's commentary on like movie tropes. So like so they have these like throughout the movie, like you should never say who's there. You should never go outside to investigate a strange noise. People who run up the stairs instead of going out the front door. Things like that. And then, okay, we're at the party. This is the last act, right? And at this point, there's still like the only suspect they have at this point is Sydney's dad, because Sydney's dad has like disappeared. He's not at the hotel that he told Sydney he would be at, and no one can find him. And then they ran the like phone records, and they're like, oh, the phone calls, the like Ghostface phone calls have been coming from his phone, but no one can find him. Like no one can contact him. So he's like the main suspect. So then we get to the last act. It's a party at Stu's house, like I said. And Tatum is killed by Ghostface. Sad. I liked her. Did you like her?
I was so surprised. I thought like if I say it, I rewatched them, but if this was my first time watching this, I would have thought Tatum was a killer.
Really?
because she was supposed to pick up Sydney at
Mhm.
7 o'clock. She called at 7:10 and said I'm late, and then like not even 5 minutes later, the killer's already in the house.
Mm.
I would have thought something about that. And plus, like if you watch all the other screens, it's like, well, not all the other ones, but the newer ones, it's like love interest or the killers. Like I think it's the fifth one with
Oh, with the girl's boyfriend,
yeah, her
Jack
boyfriend.
Quaid. Is that his name?
I have no idea what his name is off the top of my head, and I seen it last night.
I don't know what his character's. I don't remember what his character name is, but I think it was Jack Quaid.
And then the Jenna Ortega's best friend in the movie, she was also the killer.
Yeah,
and it was just weird to me. So she was just giving off weird signals, and plus she was boyfriend. She was a girlfriend of Stu Macher. So I'm thinking, they're all three of them are together. Her, Billy, and Stu. But I was surprised when she died. Like I remembered it too. As soon as she went downstairs to get the beer, I said, "Oh, I know how she's gonna die in my head."
Yeah,
like, I seen it.
Yeah, so they're at the party, and Stu like sends her to the garage to get more beer. And when she's down there, Ghostface shows up. And she puts up a good fight. Also, like I said, like the attacks, the like Ghostface attacks, I feel like the victims like handle it pretty well, even though they do eventually die. They're not like as stupid as you would think.
She tried to go out a dog hole.
That is the one thing. Like she's like she like kicks him. She's like throwing bottles at him. Like she's doing pretty well until she tries to go out the like dog door on the garage. That was not smart.
And my only other thing, why didn't the door open for her? But as soon as Ghostface like twisted the knob, the door automatically opened.
Yeah, it looked like there were like issues with the garage door, but then like Ghostface goes to do it and it works. And yeah, she gets stuck in the door and Ghostface turns it on and it like lifts her and like all the way up to the top. And then she like her head gets crushed in the like motor and she dies, which there is a like frame where you can like they have like a close-up of her face when she dies and you can very clearly see it's like a mannequin.
I didn't even peep that.
Like there's like a frame when they do the close-up, you can see that's not a human woman, that's a mannequin head.
I did not peep that. I gotta go back and watch it.
Yeah, and apparently this scene was also like hard to film and they had to like nail her to like the doors, like she didn't like fall out where they were doing the stunt.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like nail her shirt to the door. It's like, yeah. So then people start leaving the party and there's like a few people left. And then this is when we get the scene where Randy, who's also friends with Sydney and Tatum and Billy and Stu, he explains the horror movie rules, which are to never have sex, because and then only never have sex, only the virgin survives, the virgin is the final girl. You can never drink or do drugs, and never say I'll be right back, because you won't be. So people start to leave the party, but then Billy comes and he's like, oh, I just want to talk to Sid. So then him and Cindy go talk, and she's like, I guess you're right. I probably should start to get over my mom's death. He's like, yeah, I was right. Because we also find out that Sydney's mom was like having affairs behind her dad's back. Like she was cheating on her dad, and Cindy did not know that. But apparently everyone in the town did. Like everyone knew that her mom was like going around with all these other men.
Listen. You hide your other life from your kids when they're growing up. Let's just say that.
Very true. Very true. So yeah, she like finds this out and she's like, yeah, I guess my mom like wasn't who I thought she was. And like, I'm scared I'm going to turn out like her. So then basically her and Billy have sex. So she is no longer a virgin. Unfortunate. And then, yeah, at some point, like I said, the other party goers find out that the principal died, so they all leave, and then Randy's the only one who stays. So at this point, only Sydney, Stu, Billy, and Randy are left in the house. Everyone's gone, and also Dewey and Gail are there. Dewey's there to like watch them, I guess, to like guard the party. He literally brings Sydney and Tatum to the party, which did not seem smart.
Useless.
Why would he do that? The police in these movies are the most useless people in all of the movie, they don't serve any purpose. I don't know why I just covered the mic with my hand. They're so useless. They're never any help. No one's doing their job. They never find the killer, obviously.
Yeah.
Like Dewey, and no shade to Dewey. I love Dewey as a character. He's not a good cop. Okay, when we get to the fourth movie and he's the sheriff, how is he qualified?
Listen, I don't know, but when he brought his sister there, right? And why, I don't know why they didn't alert the sheriff. Why didn't he alert the sheriff where all the kids would be? And why didn't they like just surround the house? Okay, all the kids are in a safe environment in one house. We can watch them under one roof.
There's literally a curfew. Why are
is.
you bringing them to this party? And then you're just like sitting outside. And then he goes in at one point, and Gail goes in with him. Gail goes in, and she plants a camera at the party because she's trying to. I guess she thinks one of the kids is the killer, which she was ultimately right, but still interesting. She plants a camera at the party, and then she goes back to her news van, and there's like a 30-second delay, which is relevant later. Only like once, really.
Yeah. That 30-second delay was drawing. Very much so.
They mention it once, and then it comes back in later when they're okay. So Ghostface shows up after Sydney and Billy just had sex, and then Sydney's like, "Oh, who did you call when you were in jail?" And Billy's like, "I called my dad." And Sydney's like, "No, you didn't. The sheriff called your dad. I saw him." And he's like, "Are you serious? Like, you still think I'm the killer? Like, what do I have to do to like convince you that I'm not the killer?"
That's when she was thinking smartly right there. Like, why
was
didn't you
getting
call
it.
me so you can like tell me like you're innocent and whatnot? Then to say you call your dad was crazy. So obviously he called Stu, so Stu could call Sydney.
No, I think he called Sydney. I think he called her from jail.
Well, I don't know how it would have went back then, but when you make like a jail call, the person has to accept the charges and all that. But I don't know how they would do that in the movie. You know?
Yeah.
So
I also
that's
don't
why
know.
I think Stu called her, because he wasn't in jail.
That's true. That could be true. Either way, one of the ghost faces called her. Yeah. So then she gets suspicious, and right as she's like getting like, right as she's like, "Oh, that's weird," Ghostface pops out and he stabs Billy in the chest, and she's like, "Oh, guess it wasn't him." So then this is when we get the big chase. Chase scenes in Scream are very important and very necessary. Okay. And this was also a really good set to do it in. Like, there are so many doors and staircases and rooms in this house.
That house was big.
Yes. It's like a big farmhouse on a hill.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yes, in the middle of nowhere. Apparently it was really hard to film at. Apparently this last act, it took like 3 weeks to film.
For real?
Yeah. Yeah, it took like really, really long.
Well,
and
they were covering a lot of ground though, because they were outside.
They went outside, they went inside, they were like down the road, they're running down the road, they're driving on the road. There was a lot. Apparently it was a lot of like running, a lot of adrenaline. I think it was like really hard on the actors because like you're being chased and like all these things. Yeah, so then Ghostface, he's chasing her around the house. She eventually like falls out of a window onto like a boat mattress, I think it's what it's called. And then yeah, she's like running. Dewey, she runs to the news van where Gail's cameraman is watching, and then this is where the 30-second delay comes in because Ghostface goes downstairs and Randy is still downstairs. He's watching Halloween, and he's watching as he's watching the movie, he's like, "Look behind you, Jamie. Like, Jamie, just look behind you. Look behind you." And then meanwhile, Ghostface is coming up behind him with a knife. And then obviously you as the audience is like, "Look behind you, Randy. Look behind you." But Ghostface doesn't kill him for some reason. I actually don't know why. Why he didn't just kill him.
Maybe, was he still a virgin around this time? Like, it's rules to the scary movie stuff. It's rules.
Well, apparently there were alternate endings to the movie. There was another ending where Randy and Dewey both die. But then they filmed an alternate ending where they live at the end, and then that's ultimately the ending they go with. Because yeah, eventually, so Ghostface doesn't kill Randy. He goes outside, and then Sydney and the cameraman are like watching Ghostface come up behind him, and they're like, "Randy, look behind you." And then the cameraman leaves the van to go help him, but then he's like, "Oh wait, there's a 30-second delay. That's not what's happening right now." So then Ghostface pops out and he kills the cameraman. His name is Kenny. R.I.P. Kenny. So then Sydney gets out of the truck and she's running more running, more chasing. She like goes back to the house where Dewey is. Dewey also makes his way because also Dewey and Gail, right, we're going on this little side quest and they go and they find Sydney's dad's car in like a ditch or something.
After they had to jump off the road before getting ran over
Yeah,
by
the kids when the kids were going to see the principal's body, they almost run Dewey over. And he's like standing in the street, all these kids are like driving toward him full speed and he's like, freeze, stop. Really? Why? I love Dewey so much. He's not a good cop. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He's not a good cop.
Listen, he's useless. He doesn't use his gun when he needs to.
No.
And he's always getting hurt.
None of the cops do. None of the cops. I don't even think they ever get a shot off in these movies. The killer's coming at them and they don't shoot. They just do the cop thing. They're like freeze, which is like not relevant to real life cops. Let's be honest. Like if they get a chance to shoot someone, they're gonna do it. But anyway, yeah. Dewey and Gail make out a little. Which again, read the room. Like we have a job here. We have a job. We have a task, and yeah, they fall into the ditch and they make out for a little bit, and then they find Sydney's dad's car. So they're like, "Why is Sydney's dad's car here?" That's where they go back to the house. Dewey goes back in the house. Ghostface stabs him in the back. He like comes like walking out of the house, and Sydney sees him, and she's like, "Oh my God, Dewey!" But then he falls, and we see there's a knife in his back. So then, yes, more chasing, more running. Gail also drives into a ditch. She tries to drive the news van and Sydney like appears in the road. So then she drives off the road and into a ditch and she like crashes the van. And then we get to the end. Sydney goes back into the house and Billy comes stumbling out of the room they're in because we thought he was dead. He's not dead. So he comes down the stairs. At this point, Sydney thinks the killer is either Stu or Randy because they both come running out and they're both like screaming and going crazy and she doesn't know like what to think. So she locks them out of the house and then Billy comes back down and Sydney's holding a gun at this point. How did she get a gun? She takes Dewey's gun. That's right. She takes Dewey's gun. She goes back in the house. Billy shows up. He takes the gun from her and he lets Randy in the house. And then Randy runs in and he's like, "Oh my God, like Stu's gone mad." And then Billy turns around and he starts mewing and he's like, "We all go a little mad sometimes." And he shoots Randy in the chest. Crazy. We get the reveal. It's Billy and Stu. You probably deduced that from all the spoilers we've said so far, but it's Billy and Stu. They're the killers. They're both Ghostface. Which was also, again, a huge reveal back then when this first came out. Like I said, I would have loved to see this in the theaters. I bet it was really, really wild.
You think the audience, like, you know how sometimes you go to the movie, I know Marvel fans, when you go to Marvel see Marvel movies, they like applaud and make gas.
Yes, like the experience of seeing Endgame or like Infinity War in the theater, I think would have compared to seeing Scream in the theater.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we find out it's Billy and Stu. And Sydney's like, "Okay, like why? Like why would you do this?" And Billy's like, "Because your mom had an affair with my dad, and that's why my parents got divorced and my mom moved away and she abandoned me." We find out earlier in the movie when they're having the argument and Billy's like, "You should just get over your mom dying because I got over my mom leaving. It's the same thing." And Sydney's like, "No, it's not." Like it's actually not at all. So then yeah, we find out now that Billy and Stu also killed Sydney's mom. They killed her mom. It was not Conweary.
Her mom.
No, I don't think they raped her mom. I think Conweary had sex with the mom and then they came in and killed her. Because that's what Gail said earlier when Gail and Sydney, Sydney confronts Gail and Gail's like, "Yeah, he was having sex with your mom, but he didn't kill her. He was having sex with her mom, but he did not kill her." They framed him. They like put on her coat and then that's what Sydney saw leaving her house before she found her mom. She saw one of them leaving in his coat, so she thought it was him, and it wasn't him. And yeah, so that's Billy. Stu's just there for vibes, basically. He doesn't have a specific motive. He's just like, he's really crazy and really manic. Matthew Lillard does such a good job. I love him in this movie.
Yo, I've met him in Scooby-Doo, but from this, it's like totally different. It is totally different.
Yes, yeah, Matthew Lillard also plays Shaggy and Scooby-Doo.
He's just like a lackey. He's a follower.
Yeah,
and Scream.
it's Billy's. It's like he's like the crazy one, and then Billy's like the serious one, basically. But he has like he in this scene he has like really good. He has really good lines. He improvises a lot of lines that have like become really iconic. You just hit me with the phone, Dick. Things like that. um yeah, so then this we find out also that they kidnapped Sydney's dad. That's why no one's been able to get a hold of him and why his car was outside of Stu's house, because they've been keeping him here in his house. And they're also going to frame him just like they framed Cotton. They're going to frame him for the whole thing. They're going to say that he went crazy after the year anniversary of his wife's death, and that he killed all these kids, and then he killed Sydney, and then he killed himself. And Stu and Billy are going to be the only survivors, and they like stab each other a couple times to make it look believable. Yeah, so then at this point, Gail, who did not die in the crash, she comes back when she's about to shoot. What does that mean?
Transition battery low.
Okay, and we're back. Anyway, okay, Gail, she crashed her car, but she's good. Okay, she comes back to the house. She has Dewey's gun. She got Dewey's gun while their backs were turned. So she's about to shoot Billy, but then turns out the safety's on the gun. She did not take the safety off the gun. So then Billy like kicks her out of the house, and she like gets knocked out. So then her and Dewey are knocked out outside the house. So then Billy's about to shoot, is about to shoot her. He takes safety off. He's about to shoot her. But then they turn around and Sydney's gone. She left the kitchen and she like got her dad, and now they're both gone. So then they start like freaking out, like looking around for her. And Billy's like Stu, like, oh my God. Billy's trying to get Stu to help him look for Sydney, but he can't because he stabbed him so many times. He like can bear, like he's bleeding out, like he's like actively dying.
He really is. He's sitting down. And then the phone rings. He picks up the phone, and it's Sydney with the ghost face mask. I mean, ghost face voice on the phone.
Yeah, she has like the voice modifier, and she calls them. And yeah, Billy's like losing his mind, like tearing up the house trying to look for her. And Stu's on the phones with her, and he's like, "My mom's gonna be so mad at me."
Right? He's like, "Did you already call the cops?" Of course I did.
Yeah. So then Sydney like bursts out of a closet in Ghostface style, and she's wearing the Ghostface mask, and she stabs him with an umbrella. And it turns out when she skits him with the umbrella, Skeet Ulrich, who plays Billy, that was like a real scream that he did, because it missed the like protective like vest he was wearing, and it actually stabbed him. So like when he screams, he's like screaming for real, because he actually did get stabbed with an umbrella.
By an umbrella.
Yeah.
Forceful was she when she did that.
Mm-hmm. She came like full force out of that closet
with the mask on and everything.
Mm-hmm. She's wearing the mask, the cloak. This last act probably was like a mess to film. There was a lot going on. Literally, the cinematographer, Mark Irwin, he got fired for this last, like, while they were filming this last act.
Why?
Because the way they were trying to film it, with this like specific type of like camera, but it made it really difficult to film. So a lot of the footage that they filmed was like unusable. So like at some point, the cinematographer is like, oh, like I think like a month's worth of scenes that we filmed is like unusable because it's like out of focus. This is like
a month.
I think so. It was like almost like a month of like scenes that they filmed were unusable, allegedly. This might, if I'm wrong, I'm very sorry. But this is from Wikipedia. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, he gets fired and he's replaced for like this last act. And yeah.
Whatever they shot for the last act was good though. I love
it. Was still really good. Listen, they got there in the end, but apparently they had like t-shirts made like "I survived scene 118" or whatever number the scene was, because it was such a mess to film. But anyway, yeah, she stabs Billy in the chest, and like he falls out. And at some point, Stu tries to get her too, but then she like runs away from him and they get into the living room. He like tackles her over the couch and there's like feathers everywhere, which apparently wasn't like planned. Like there's like feathers in the couch that like once like when all the like commotion starts, the feathers start coming out of the couch. Apparently that wasn't planned and it's like sticking to like the fake blood and stuff. So yeah, this is like obviously in the 90s they have like the giant TV, so she like knocks the TV over onto his head and he dies. Well, he allegedly dies. Apparently there's some like speculation as to whether or not he's actually dead and like whether or not Matthew Lillard will be coming back at some point. I think he was supposed to come back in the fourth one or something like that, but then it ended up not happening.
So they don't think he's dead.
There are some people who don't think that he's dead
Because he's coming out in the one that's coming out next year.
He is?
Yes, he's supposed to be in the
Oh,
seventh
actually, I think
installment.
I heard that too. Actually,
So he's not dead. So because you know how they always say the killers always get up for one last hurrah moment.
that's the big thing in these. At the end of the movie, there's
I
always
thought he
one
did
final
get up.
scare. No, that was Billy that
was
did it.
Billy?
That was Billy that did it. Yeah, because then she kills Stu, and then she goes back to where Billy's laying, and it turns out Randy's alive. Randy got shot, but he like pops back up, and then that's when he's like, "I've never been so happy to be a virgin." So you're right. You were right. It's because the virgin did survive. So then, yeah, she's like, Randy pops back up, but then so does Billy. And he like punches Randy in the face and he knocks him out again. And then Billy is about to kill her. But then Gail comes to, and this time she actually does shoot him. The safety was off this time and she shoots him. So then like Gail and Sydney and Randy are there, and then Randy is like, well, this is like the moment, like there's one final scare at the end of the movie, and then yeah, Billy like pops up for a sec and Sydney shoots him point blank in the head, and now he's dead. And that's the end of Scream 1. Greatest slasher ever made, in my opinion. Yeah, they apparently used 50 gallons of fake blood.
50 gallons of fake blood. I
mean, there's a lot of blood.
I was about to say, I can see why.
There's a lot of blood, especially in like the last act. Everyone's covered in blood. There's a lot.
Yes, and there's a lot of, they're running around everywhere, outside, in the house, in the attic.
They utilized that set. They got their money's worth. Like I said, because there was a bunch of like reshoots, like they were behind schedule. Yeah, there was a lot. But yeah, Scream 1 redefined the genre. Okay, she was that girl in the 90s. Which is why they then made Scream 2. First of all, Scream 2 was greenlit while Scream 1 was still in theaters. It was in theaters for a couple of months. It was there for like a while. So then they greenlit Scream 2. It came out less than a year later in 1997 with also, again, with Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette. And Randy. I don't know his actor's name. It's Jamie something. I don't know his actor's name.
I want to say Jamie Kennedy, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. It's
Malibu Most Wanted.
I think it's Jamie Kennedy. But yeah, then we get Scream 2. We see Sydney and Randy are in college. They go to Windsor College, fictional college in Ohio. And yeah, Scream 2.
It's funny. I wrote in my notes, I didn't like it. As soon as I seen I think Omar Epps and that's
Epps and Jada Pinkett Smith.
So look, I wrote, this is the first thing I wrote. The second one, crazy, wasn't that good, but I did enjoy the chase scene with Gail and the killer in the studio. Dang, that's not that one. I must have erased something. I must have erased it, but I said I hated that the black people died in the beginning. Why did they have to die?
Yes, in the opening scene this time, it's Jada Pinkett Smith and Omar Epps. They play a couple and they go to see Stab because Gail's book, The Woodsboro Murders, about what happens in the first movie, it gets made into a movie, Stab, which eventually gets made into a movie franchise, which is a big part of Scream, is that there's this movie within the movies of Scream, of the events of Scream. But like they're made into like trashy horror movies. They're made into the trashy horror movies that Scream is making fun of, basically, within the movie franchise, which I think is a cool detail. But yeah, Jada Pinkett Smith and Omar Epps die. They're the opening kills. Omar Epps gets stabbed through a bathroom stall.
I didn't think that was possible.
Yes, like with a knife that's like strong enough and long enough to go through the stall into his skull. Crazy. And then yeah, Jada Pinkett he also gets stabbed in front of a movie theater full of people because, like I said, it's a movie about Ghostface. So like everyone is there. They're in their ghost face mask, and like so when they see her they like see her like bleeding out because she goes like right in front of the movie screen and she like screams and then she like falls out and dies. But then people think it's like part of the screening or whatever.
I had a little bit of blame her. Like, how do you think that this man that's just came to sit next to you is your boyfriend?
Because he was wearing the jacket.
Just the jacket, though.
He was just
What
wearing...
about the shoes? What about the pants? Like,
she
you're not
didn't
even
look
looking.
that closely.
Yeah, she's not even paying
she
attention.
Didn't look that closely. Yeah.
And then she see the blood on him. She was like, huh? Who are you? Yo,
yeah, that's when she realizes that it's... Yeah.
I would have lost.
Well, then she screams when she gets stabbed. But like I said, like this theater is already like so crazy. Like no one's paying attention.
They're chasing each other with knives.
Yes, which feels like really annoying. Like if I'm going to a movie theater and these people are like going crazy like this, I don't want to watch a movie like that.
I'm asking for a refund.
Yes, I understand. Like, but like no, it's too much. Too much. So then, yeah, she gets killed, and her and Omar Epps are going to the same college that Sydney is going to. So then, same thing in the last movie. Everyone finds out about their deaths. They find out that it's a Ghostface killer, like a copycat killer. Sydney has a new boyfriend this movie, Derek, and she has new friends. Hallie, her roommate, who is also Black, and another guy, Mickey, who's I guess friends with her boyfriend. I don't even know. Mickey's barely in the movie, honestly, which makes sense later because spoiler alert, the killers in this movie are Mickey, her friend, and Mrs. Loomis, Billy's mom.
Did not see that one though.
Yeah,
that was a surprise at the end when she brought Gail in through the like the I don't know what the stage thing is called for the theater set, but she just brought her through the set door. Yeah, that's what it's called, the set door. And I said, who is this lady? That's the news little lady. Then she said her name.
So she's within the movie. She's has like a few scenes throughout the movie, and she says she's working for a newspaper. So it's like an excuse for her to be every time a murder happens. It's like an excuse for her to like show up to the crime scene and like ask questions. And she's like harassing Gail basically
every step.
Yes. So then we find out at the end it's because she's one of the killers and she's working with one of Sydney's friends, Mickey, who is barely in the movie. Like he's in the first half, but in the second half of the movie, he doesn't show up anymore.
I tell you one scene he didn't miss. He didn't miss the musical. That musical number.
No, he was there.
Yeah, I know. I said he didn't miss it.
Yeah. There's a scene where Sydney's boyfriend stands up and they're in the cafeteria and he stands up and he starts singing to Sydney as like a declaration of his love. And he gets up, he's like standing on the tables. People are like clapping for him. It's really bad. It's so bad. And apparently the cast also hated doing that scene. Like the actor didn't like want to sing it, and then the whole cast like didn't want to be there. It was not good. But yeah, fast forward to the end, it's Billy's mom, and she's super pissed at Sydney for killing her son, even though she abandoned her son in the first place. Like, which is the whole point of the first movie is that Billy was abandoned by his mom, and then in this movie, Billy's mom comes back and she's mad because Sydney killed her son, and it's like, well, none of this would have happened if you had just not abandoned your son. Like none of that happened. Like get divorced for sure. Obviously, get divorced from your cheating husband. You did not have to like leave town and leave your kid
behind.
Exactly.
At all.
And then she goes on this whole rant like, I hate when everyone blames the parents. It's not always the parents' fault. And it's like, well, it kind of is your fault. What do you mean? It kind of is your fault. Yeah. Oh, and then this movie, also a big part of this movie is Cotton Weary, which, like I said, in the first movie, Billy and Stu frame him for Sydney's mom's murder. So in this movie, he's been exonerated, but he's doing all these like talk show appearances, like talking about like his story and like trying to clear his name and everything. So in this movie, he's working with Gail because he basically wants like his 15 minutes of fame pretty much. and he like wants an interview with Sydney. So we like corner Sydney in a library, and he's like, we can do an interview with Diane Sawyer, because this is the 90s when Diane Sawyer was like really big. So, and Sydney's like, I don't want to do that. Like, no, thank you. And he like corners her in a library, trying to get her to do it. So then that makes people think that he's Ghostface because he's pissed at Sydney for pointing the finger at him when it wasn't him. But he's not the killer.
Surprisingly, I never thought he was the killer.
Really?
Nah, just because he was innocent before. Like,
I'm not sure I ever really did either, just because I
never
feel
thought
like that
about
would
it.
have been too
Obvious.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah,
I'm like,
it
he's
would have
not
been
the
too
killer.
obvious if it was him. I don't think I really ever thought it was him.
But then when he did show up, when Gail exited the studio after Dewey was proclaimed killed and he had the blood on his hand, I still didn't think he was the killer, but I'm
Really?
like, he could be the killer, you know.
Yeah.
But I never really thought it was him.
Yeah, there's a scene where Gail and Dewey are working together again. Okay, because in the last movie, like I said, Gail and Dewey make out, but then in this movie, they're not dating, because in Gail's book, she portrays Dewey like really badly, and she portrays him as like a really like stupid, like bad cop, which
he is.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I mean, would I have written him like that personally? No, that's a little messy. But was she particularly incorrect? I don't know. But he is pissed at her. But then they start working together anyway. And they're in this, and they're like watching footage because Gail's new cameraman, who's also black, he has a bunch of footage from when they're on the campus. So they're watching the footage, trying to find out who Ghostface is, and they make out again. Which again, we're in the middle of a task. Like, we're doing something right now. They're like, and then they're like climbing on top of each other on a top of a desk. Like, okay. And then they get interrupted. It's just like time and place. Okay. But anyway, they get interrupted by Ghostface. Dewey gets stabbed in the back again. And then Gail is running. Oh, this is when we get the chase scene. Again, another really good chase scene with Courtney Cox. She's running through this building. She's running from Ghostface. They get into like a production studio like type set. Like I said, really good sets for a chase. You need a good set if you're gonna have a good chase.
Very much so. She was it was cat and mouse. She eluded them.
She hit a lot, but again, I think she was picking like good places, like good hiding places, and she was quiet. Okay, I hate when people are like hiding and they breathe too loud or they scream or something like that. She sees Ghostface and she gasps, but she doesn't scream. Very good. Oh yeah, and then at some point she's like running away, and Cotton Weary like shows up and he's covered in blood, and she's like, "Oh, I found Dewey. I tried to help him," but obviously she doesn't believe him. She thinks that he's Ghostface, but he's not Ghostface. Obviously, we find out. So then when Sydney's having like the final showdown with Billy Loomis's mom, because at this point Mickey is already the mom shoots Mickey, because like I said, I feel like in every movie when there's two ghost faces, there's like one person who has like a real motive, and then their sidekick who is just like there for fun. Like,
what did he say, like tuition or something?
He said he wants to do it because he wants to get caught, so then when he gets caught and they're doing the trial, he's like, I can say like the movies made me do it.
Yeah,
like, because there's this whole thing in this movie about how people's like how whether or not violent movies and horror movies can dictate people's real actions, and whether or not movies can have like an effect on reality, which is also a big thing I think in Scream 3 as well. Yeah, he's like, I just want to get caught, and then like we'll have the trial. It'll be like the trial of the century, and I'll say it's because movies made me do it. And again, he's just wanting his 15 minutes fame. That's also a really big thing. People in these movies always just want to be in the spotlight, and like that's why one of the reasons why they murder people is because they like want to be famous, which is an interesting way to go about it.
By killing people, right? But then like once you say his plan did work, he can never really tell anybody he killed these people, like at all. He can't take credit for that, or he would be in jail.
Yeah, I'm guessing he was thinking more like of a pleading insanity type thing, where like he doesn't actually go to jail, but it's like you're not going to be like revered as like if you're a serial killer. That's not really how it works.
Listen, the world is crazy. You never know. You never know. Like again, we were talking about you root for the main character in the TV show.
Oh my God, no. Let's not get into that actually. So yeah, Billy's mom was like, this guy's like really weird, and she shoots him. And then her and Sydney tussle. But when she shoots him, he also shoots Gail. So Gail like falls off the stage, and she doesn't even show up again till like the end of the movie. Like she's just laying on the floor
Quiet.
while Sydney she's just laying on the floor while Sydney's fighting this woman. So yeah, they tussle. Cotton Weary shows up, and he has a gun for some reason. I guess there's always a gun somewhere just laying on the floor somewhere. So yeah, he picks up the gun, and Billy Loomis's mom is like, oh, just let me kill her, like she screwed up your life too, like you should want her to die too, like just let me kill her. And Khan's like, well, if you do this interview with me, I'll save you. And then Sydney's like, that was so crazy,
I'll do it.
And then Sydney was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And yeah, he shoots her.
Like, yo, you're not just going to save me out of the goodness of your heart.
Nope.
It has to be like a payday for you.
Nope,
and
it's very much transactional.
It was just, I want to say, what, $10,000 that he said we were getting a piece?
Yeah.
Like, yo, he said, yo, do the interview with me or I'm going to just let her kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Right then and there. Like, what?
Yeah.
Crazy. Very much.
Yeah. So then he shoots the mom, and then Gail pops up. Finally, she comes back, and I guess she's fine. And then we get to the point, the final jump scare. Mickey pops back up. So then Gail and Sydney shoot him a bunch of times. Yes, they shoot him like 15 times. And then Sydney turns around and she shoots the mom in the head just to be safe. Yeah. The mom's not moving at all, but Sydney shoots her point blank in the head just to be safe.
I would have did it too, though.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Fair enough.
And when Sydney did ask for the gun from Cotton and she got the gun, and I was saying shoot him too. Shoot Cotton too. Yo, I said that when I was watching the movie last night. Shoot him too.
I mean, yeah, I would have been pissed about that interview thing. Like, are you serious? You would have let her slit my throat just now? You deadass would have let her slit my throat just now.
For no reason at all.
Literally, because I wouldn't go on Diane Sawyer with you. Like, let's be real.
Yo, terrible.
Crazy. Yeah. And then yeah, that's the end. At the end of the movie, Dewey is alive again. He also never dies. Him and Gail, they never actually, that's not true. Dewey does die eventually. That's actually not true.
At first I thought they would never die. Like they got more lives than cats. I forgot what character said that.
Someone said that.
But I think it is very true.
I think it's Cotton.
Then yes, it's very true though.
Yeah. And at the end of the movie, like Dewey's being taken away in a stretcher again, and this time Gail chooses to go with him to the hospital instead of like reporting on the incident.
I thought that was cute.
Yeah, she goes with, I mean, she does also need to go to the hospital, so good for her. She does have a bullet wound, so she does also need to go to the hospital. But yeah, that's Scream 2. Is that your least favorite one?
Probably. The ones that I've watched so far, probably. I don't really like the streamed. Like, well, I like the first one, the fourth one, and the sixth one.
I have not seen the sixth one.
I like that.
The first one is obviously first for me. I don't know, because I don't love the reveal in the third one. Okay, so Scream 3 comes out in 2000. And this one has a different writer. Kevin Williamson, who wrote the first two, he isn't able to write the third one because he already has like other things that he's doing. So it's written by this other guy, which I feel like you can kind of tell. Low key, I feel like you can tell. So in this third one, it takes place in Hollywood because, like I said, in the second one, there's the first Stab movie, which is based on Gail's book, and they've turned that into like a whole franchise. So in this one, they're filming another Stab. Is it Stab 3 that they're filming?
I want to say yes, it is Stab 3.
Yeah. They're filming the third Stab movie within the third Scream movie.
I thought that was like weird and cool at the same time.
Yeah. Did I mention this? I don't know if I mentioned this, but in Scream 2, Randy dies. I think I forgot that. I'm sorry.
We didn't even mention that.
Didn't even mention. It's not super. I don't want to say it's not super important. I'm sorry, Randy, but he does die. So in this third one, Randy's not there.
I blame him for dying, anyways. They told you not to move, and you're just walking about.
It's really weird that because they were trying, because he was on the phone with Ghostface and they're
Yes.
like walking around the quad trying to figure out who he's on the phone with, which is stupid because why would, well, because the whole thing is like, oh, Ghostface is like, he's watching us here. But I don't think he would just like be out in the open like that. Like he would still be hiding somewhere.
Yeah, that's why he should have stayed right where he was instead of going into the street.
Yeah, he
in
goes
my
into the
head,
street right in front of Gail's news van and
Mhm.
Ghostface pops out of the news van and he kills Randy.
turns out to be the mom. She didn't like what he said about Billy.
Because Randy starts talking about Billy,
Being
and
a
the mom
mama's
gets
boy.
pissed off, and she kills him for what he says. But anyway, in case you're wondering about Randy, why he's not why he's not in this third one, it's because he's dead. So we go to the third one. It takes place on the set of Stab 3, which is, I think it's literally called Stab 3, like Return to Woodsboro or something. So it takes place on a set of Stu and Sydney's houses. And one of the chase scenes is on set, and they're going through the set of Sydney's house. So it's like the chase scene in the first movie, but it's on a movie set. And this one, she also goes up the stairs in the set of the house. So love a good callback. Should we take a break really quick? Okay, we'll be back in a sec. Okay. If I remember correctly, we're on the set when Sydney's being chased through the set, the set of her house. Yeah, another really great chase scene. Oh, and then also in this movie, a big part of this movie is Sydney's mom. She's like, I love a character that like haunts the narrative, like they're dead, so like their character isn't there, but they're such a big part of the movie or the show that like it feels like they're there. And that's like a really big part of these movies, like Sydney's mom. So then in this movie, Sydney's basically like seeing her ghost. Like she's hearing her voice, and like this in this scene, she literally sees like someone in a sheet like walking towards her.
Yo, that was so scary. Like just being there, I probably would have been scared. I wasn't scared because I was home, but I would have been scared like just seeing a sheet. I know it's a killer, but just walking towards me with the voice of my mother. I like how the killer did like change the voices from the mom and then the other people of the cast members and stuff like that. That was neat and tricky.
Another part of this is with the voice changer, along with doing the regular Ghostface, he has like the voices of other people in the movie. So like he'll call someone as someone else, but it's not really that person. Like Dewey gets a call and he thinks it's Sydney, but it's not Sydney, it's Ghostface. Yeah, so that's a big part. He somehow has Sydney's mom's voice, and he like calls her as her mom, and like she like talks to her as her mom. It's really weird. But anyway, we get to the end of the movie, and the killer in this one is the guy who is directing Stab 3. His name is Roman, who turns out to be Sydney's half brother. Now, at this point in the movie, here's my issue. I don't like this reveal. I don't like this killer. Because at this point in the movie, Sydney and Roman have not met. She doesn't know. He takes off the mask and she has no idea who it is. That is not impactful at all. The whole point of the other movies, she knows who it is. It's her boyfriend and her boyfriend's best friend. And then it's one of her friends and her boyfriend's mom. She knows these people.
But they didn't know each other their whole life. He
takes off the mask.
Reveal.
He doesn't know who it is. He has to introduce himself to her. Like what? She has no idea who this is. So then, yeah, he like obviously like we as the audience know who it is, and like Gail and Dewey and like everyone who's been working on the case knows who it is. So then, yeah, he has to introduce himself to her. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm Roman. I'm the director of this movie, and I'm your brother. And she's like, what? So it turns out that Sydney's mom went to Hollywood for like 3 years. She tried to be an actress. And while she was there, she was working with the producer. It was the same producer who's producing the Stab movies. So we've seen the producer too. So she's working with this producer, and apparently he has these parties where actresses can like meet directors, and that's another thing is like actors like having to like do things to like get their roles. Like Carrie Fisher, they make a joke about Carrie Fisher sleeping with George Lucas or something to get the role of Leia in Star Wars.
They did say that.
And then they say one of the actress who plays Sydney in Stab, she says that she slept with the producer to get the role to play Sydney. So like that's like a thing. So Sydney's mom, she's in Hollywood, she's going to these parties and she's assaulted at one of these parties. And that's why she eventually moves back to Woodsboro and she doesn't tell anyone. Like no one knows what she was doing when she left Woodsboro. It's like this big mystery in the movie. Like, why is Sydney's mom on this like lot? Like, what was she doing? And so it turns out that after she was assaulted, she got pregnant, and Roman, the director, is her son. So it's Sydney's half brother. And he's pissed because he found out who his mom was and he tried to go to her a couple years prior and she rejected him. Like she didn't want anything to do with him. And so he gets mad and he follows her around for a couple of weeks and he finds out that she's been sleeping around behind Sydney's dad's back, and she takes a video of him with Billy's dad and he shows it to Billy. So that's why Billy and Stu do what they did, because he was the one who told Billy that Sydney's mom and his dad had an affair.
Everything is all because of Roman. All connected.
It goes full circle, which I can appreciate, but like I said, this reveal just does not hit the way that, and honestly, the way that the other ones do. And like honestly, like I said, I don't think the reveal in 2 really hits either, because like I said, Nikki was barely in that movie, and then we see like that it's this random reporter woman that's been in the movie for like a few scenes. Like I don't know, but anyway. Yeah, we find out that he explains like what he's doing. He does the whole monologue, and then they tussle. Sydney curses him out, like, which happens in every movie. Like when Sydney finds out who the killer is, she gets really fed up really fast, and she immediately just curses them out, which is very fair. I love that. And then they have their fight. She stabs him. They're both wearing like bulletproof vests, so they both shoot each other. But then they get up anyway because they're both wearing bulletproof vests. They're wearing like magical bulletproof vests, so they don't get hurt at all. And then Dewey comes in and he stabs him in the head, and he shoots him in the head, and then that's the end, basically.
2 and 3 weren't really that good.
No. It is hard because Scream 1 is so good, so it's difficult. And then 2 and 3 had a lot of issues with the script. Like with 2, there were a lot of script rewrites because the original script got leaked onto the internet.
Jeez.
So like the entire script got leaked. So then obviously everyone found out who the killer was. The killer, I think, was originally, the roommate was supposed to be one of the killers in the last one. Yeah, but then because the script got leaked, they had to change everything around. And that's why the ending's a little funky, because there were like so many like rewrites, and then there were like decoy scripts, which I think one of those also got leaked. Like there were like decoy scripts, and like there are all these rewrites and like all these things. And and then like I said, the third movie had a different writer altogether. So the second and third ones are a little funky. They're not amazing. But then that's the end of the trilogy. And so then Scream 4 comes out in 2011, which is obviously 11 years later. So then this is like, it's not like a remake. It's like, I guess, a revisiting almost. I don't know what to call it. Like it's a sequel. It's not really a remake because it's following the same people. It's Sydney and Dewey and Gail again. This time Dewey and Gail are married finally, because the beginning of the third movie they're also broken up again. And then at the end of the movie they get together again, and then we get to the fourth movie and they're married.
Sleeping in the same bed.
Yes, they're married. It's over finally. And Sydney has written a book about her experiences. It's like a self-help book or whatever. So she goes back to Woodsboro as a part of her book tour. And then, of course, Ghostface comes back and he starts killing people. In the beginning, I think the opening scene in 4 is really good.
That's the one with the movies, right?
Yes.
Yo,
So at this point,
I didn't know what was real.
Yeah.
Watching that one.
It's really confusing. So at the beginning of this one, like I said, the stab movies have been going on for a while. At this point, they're on stab 7. And so the beginning of this movie is showing the beginning of stab 7, except the beginning of stab 7 is the beginning of stab 6. So, like, it's really confusing as you're watching. So like you're watching and it's 2 girls in a house and then they get killed by Ghostface. And then it's like a TV and it's 2 girls watching TV. They're watching stab 6. And then those girls also get killed. And then it turns out it's another 2 girls watching TV and they were watching stab 7. And then, but it turns out this is like the real beginning. And then these are the girls that actually get killed by Ghostface. And they go to school with Sydney's cousin. What is her name? Emma Roberts?
Yes, Emma Roberts.
Emma
That's her
Roberts.
name.
Yes.
Emma Roberts.
Played by Emma Roberts, who is Sydney's younger cousin. Her mom and Sydney's mom were sisters. So it's Sydney's mom's sister, who Sydney comes back to stay with when she comes back to Woodsboro for a book tour. Where is her dad? Why is she not?
He was in the third one.
He wasn't in the second one at all. And then he's in the third one. He's in the
Shortly.
beginning of the third one for one scene.
And he wasn't in the fourth
He
one.
was not in the fourth one. She goes back home to Woodsboro and she's staying with his random aunt. Why isn't she staying with her dad? Where is her dad?
But they did say in the first one he's always working. He was always working.
I mean, yeah, but like, okay, to stay in his house then. Why did she need to stay with people? Like,
Probably didn't want to be alone.
Give her the keys. I don't know, I guess. But anyway, yeah, in this movie, Gail and Dewey are also, Dewey is now the sheriff, which, like I said, I don't know if he's qualified to be sheriff.
Putting the hours in.
No, but he's sheriff, and he has this really weird deputy who's always flirting with him, even though him and Gail are married, obviously. Yeah, she was weird. Deputy Hicks, I think it was blonde woman.
Yo, she was acting like she was married to Dewey.
Yes, she was all up his butt, like literally basically trying to keep him and Gail apart.
Very much so.
Yes.
The scene where he's interrogating Sid in his office, and she's just protecting the door, all like
standing in guarding the door, literally guarding the door and not letting Gail in.
You're gonna stop me from going in. What are you gonna do? Arrest me? That's what
he says. Crazy. I also would have been pissed at her if I was Gail. Like, mind your business.
This is my husband.
Exactly. But anyway, yeah. So there's like, and in this movie, I feel like the teens, the like friend group, the like main friend group, like Sydney's cousin and their friends, they were not as like interesting.
They weren't that smart.
No, that as well. They weren't as smart. They weren't as like fun to watch.
You know the scene where the cousin, she's in her bedroom and her friend is on the phone with Ghostface. Trevor called her phone, but they thought it was Trevor. And she's just talking on the phone, but she doesn't have the phone on speaker for no reason at all, just to her ear. And Emma Roberts keeps saying, "Yo, what's happening? What's going on? What's going on?" Put the phone on speaker so everybody can hear you.
Yeah, mind you, it's literally her phone also.
Yeah, so because she's saying you're not in the closet, so now you're about to be stupid enough to open the closet. Now, what if this killer just jumps out, kills you, and kills me? Now, because I don't know what's going on. But instead, he was right next door in the other friend's house who also was on the phone. But if the phone was on speaker, she could have been hearing things too. And that was a brutal death scene. That was a lot of blood in that room.
Yeah, they kill one of the cousin's friends. They live like next door to each other, so they see through the window her being killed. And when Sydney goes to the house when she's being killed and she goes into the bedroom, it's covered in blood. Yeah. Like the entire room is covered in blood. The girl's like laying on the bed. Her entrails are on the bed. Like, it's really crazy. It's probably a little bit worse than the opening scene of the first one.
Yes.
Just because of all the blood.
Blood everywhere.
Yeah. And in this one, the cops are also stupid and useless. Okay. They also don't do anything and they both get killed, other than Dewey, because Dewey doesn't get killed, of course. But the other 2 cops who are supposed to be doing their job, they don't do their jobs. Like I said, they let the one friend get killed and then they end up being killed. And Anthony Anderson gets stabbed in the head.
Because he want to be playing around, not answering the little walkie-talkie.
Exactly.
Pretending like he did.
Yeah. The cops are also not helpful. Like I said, the detective is too busy being weird to do her job. And then Yeah, the cousin's mom gets killed. Sydney's aunt gets killed as well. She gets stabbed. And then we get to the end of the movie, we find out that it's the cousin who's been doing it. The cousin and one of the friends, Rory Culkin, who is Macaulay and Kieran Culkin's brother. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
Yeah, that was Rory Culkin.
That is tough.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
He was him and Emma Roberts are the killers. And it's literally the cousin is basically jealous because Sydney's been getting all this attention from all of her like experiences and stuff. Sydney this and Sydney that. Sydney.
Living in the shadow.
Exactly. And then Rory Culkin is basically also just like, yeah, I want to be famous. Like, I want to make a movie. All of these killers are always like all about like horror movies. They want to make a movie. They want to be in a movie. It's all about horror movies. These are horror movies about horror movies, basically. But then she kills Rory Culkin because one of the accomplices has to die first, obviously. She kills him. She stabs Sydney. She does the whole like framing thing, the whole like setup. Like we see her whole setup. She stabs herself in the shoulder.
That was crazy.
Crazy.
And I like how she stabbed herself because, like, say if she just did this to herself, the cops could prove that that's probably like a self-infected.
Yeah, she like takes the knife and she like runs into a wall.
And then she like throws her head into like the window. Then she falls down on the table. I'm like, yo, she's really selling it.
She rips out her own hair.
Selling it. Yes.
Yeah, she's committed. And it worked. It literally would have worked. If Sydney died, which Sydney didn't die, obviously, because she's Sydney Prescott. But if Sydney died, it would have worked. But yeah, at the end, they're all in the hospital. She attacks Sydney and Gail and Dewey and then the deputy. But at the end, Sydney obviously kills her. She comes back. She like pops up and Sydney shoots her in the head.
Boom, boom.
Business as usual. And then the movie ends. And that's Scream 4. I feel like I said, I feel like I like Scream 4 slightly better than 2 and 3.
I do too. Just because of the twist that the cousin is the killer.
The killers in this one made a lot more sense than in 2 and 3. Definitely better reveals. It just made a lot more sense. Were there chases in this one? I don't know if I would say.
No really.
Well,
chases.
Kind of. There are fight scenes, but I don't think there's like fully like booking it, like running.
Yeah, no chase scene.
Yeah.
Like the only scene, like he was hiding in the house with the friends. He killed the friend, he hid in the house, then Sydney came and the cousin came. But that's not really a chase scene. Mm-hmm. He did get away though. Mm-hmm. They just fought.
Yeah.
No chase scenes come until later on.
Yeah, there weren't any chase scenes in 5 either.
Not at all. No. 6 though, very much chase
Yeah,
scenes.
I have to watch 6. I haven't watched 6, and then there's going to be a 7th one coming out at some point. But yeah, those are the first 4 Screams. Final thoughts?
Scream 1 could never be replaced.
The best.
Everyone else after that sucks.
So good. Scream 1 will never be topped, I don't think. I just really don't think you can. Because I feel like, the movie itself, and then like I said, like the point in time, it's just, the whole thing was just so perfect.
Yes. Oh, wait, when did Wes Craven die?
Yeah, he's dead. Scream 4, I think, was his last movie.
Okay, yeah, because it said thanks Wes. And
yeah,
I was like,
he passed away.
The character or the director?
No, the director passed away. I think Scream 4 was his last movie before he died.
Okay.
But I think he would like 5 at least. Like I said, I can't speak on 6, but I feel like he would like 5.
Yeah, 5 is a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Better than 2 and 3.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, that's our show. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week.
Ciao.